Hello, so I was listening to kind of the Flash Day. It's kind of a cultural kind of music festival, kind of traditional Irish music. And so as I was listening to it, I felt the singers and musicians, the instrument players, they were all very good. They were playing the banjo, the violin, the accordion, but what I couldn't help noticing is that they all seemed more skilled than kind of the pop musicians. But I couldn't understand why I still seem to prefer the pop musicians than the classical musicians. So I think when I play tennis, for example, I might use multiple grips. That was a new tactic I used, but I can also just use a single grip. So a single tennis grip, like the Eastern 45-degree grip, that's just like a single chord of the acoustic guitar. And so when you think of Roger Federer, there's no limit to how good you can be on even a single chord. And so that's what I might try to do today. I'm just going to use I might just begin on an A chord, but do kind of the entire song on one chord. And so then it's kind of like when you think of mathematics, you keep kind of one variable kind of constant to find out the other variables. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of going to keep the chord constant, and so that's going to help me work a lot on my rhythm because I always struggle on the rhythm. So I'm going to begin on the Sweet Child of Mine. So so I begin just on the A chord. So oftentimes when you think of the beginners, they kind of on the guitar they take kind of a long time to switch between the chords, and so I'm kind of going to try avoid that hassle today by just using one chord. So she's got a smile that seems to me reminds me of childhood memories where everything was as fresh as a bright blue sky. So it's kind of like kind of background music where you're more focused on kind of the vocals almost than just the rhythm. Now and then when I see her face, she takes me away to that special place. And if I stare too long, I'd probably break down and cry. Whoa, 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 sweet child of mine. Whoa, 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 sweet love of mine. She's got the eyes of the bluest skies as if they thought of rain. I'd hate to look into those eyes and see an ounce of pain. Her hair reminds me of a warm, safe place where as a child I'd hide and pray for the thunder and rain to quietly pass me by. Whoa, 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 sweet child of mine. Whoa, whoa, sweet love of mine. Whoa, 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 sweet child of mine. Sweet love of mine. Sweet child of mine. Sweet love of mine. Where do we go? Where do we go now? Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go now? Oh, where do we go? Where do we go? Sweet child, where do we go now? Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go now? Where do we go? Oh, where do we go now, 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 now? So that's kind of the A chord. So as you can see, I'm certainly not an expert, but I think my rhythm slightly improved. So of course on tennis when I kind of I used to switch kind of tennis grips at every point for many months for many years for a long time, and I noticed I could be very synchronized when I switch grips all the time, but I might struggle with the kind of the speed of the tennis shot, and that's kind of the advantage of staying on one grip is you can just hit it a small bit faster sometimes. So I might do that song again just on an E chord, and so I found maybe the E chord might be slightly more kind of exotic vibe. The A was kind of more traditional, so the E chord. She's got a smile that seems to me reminds me of childhood memories, where everything was as fresh as a bright blue sky. Now and then when I see her face, she takes me away to that special place. And if I stare too long, I'd probably break down